the new god of destiny, the new gods of destiny, the new god of destiny, the new goddess of destiny, the new goddesses of destiny, the new goddess of destiny, the old god of destiny, the old gods of destiny, the old god of destiny, the old goddess of destiny, the old goddesses of destiny, the old goddess of destiny, the greater god of destiny, the greater gods of destiny, the greater god of destiny, the greater goddess of destiny, the greater goddesses of destiny, the greater goddess of destiny, the lesser god of destiny, the lesser gods of destiny, the lesser god of destiny, the lesser goddess of destiny, the lesser goddesses of destiny, the lesser goddess of destiny, the higher god of destiny, the higher gods of destiny, the higher god of destiny, the higher goddess of destiny, the higher goddesses of destiny, the higher goddess of destiny, the lower god of destiny, the lower gods of destiny, the lower god of destiny, the lower goddess of destiny, the lower goddesses of destiny, the lower goddess of destiny, the greater spirit of destiny, the greater spirits of destiny, the greater spirit of destiny, the lesser spirit of destiny, the lesser spirits of destiny, the lesser spirit of destiny, the higher spirit of destiny, the higher spirits of destiny, the higher spirit of destiny, the lower spirit of destiny, the lower spirits of destiny, the lower spirit of destiny, the major god of destiny, the major gods of destiny, the major god of destiny, the major goddess of destiny, the major goddesses of destiny, the major goddess of destiny, the minor god of destiny, the minor gods of destiny, the minor god of destiny, the minor goddess of destiny, the minor goddesses of destiny, the minor goddess of destiny, the superior god of destiny, the superior gods of destiny, the superior god of destiny, the superior goddess of destiny, the superior goddesses of destiny, the superior goddess of destiny, the inferior god of destiny, the inferior gods of destiny, the inferior god of destiny, the inferior goddess of destiny, the inferior goddesses of destiny, the inferior goddess of destiny, the ancestor god of destiny, the ancestor gods of destiny, the ancestor god of destiny, the ancestor goddess of destiny, the ancestor goddesses of destiny, the ancestor goddess of destiny, the ascendant god of destiny, the ascendant gods of destiny, the ascendant god of destiny, the ascendant goddess of destiny, the ascendant goddesses of destiny, the ascendant goddess of destiny, the descendant god of destiny, the descendant gods of destiny, the descendant god of destiny, the descendant goddess of destiny, the descendant goddesses of destiny, the descendant goddess of destiny, the transcendent god of destiny, the transcendent gods of destiny, the transcendent god of destiny, the transcendent goddess of destiny, the transcendent goddesses of destiny, the transcendent goddess of destiny, the past god of destiny, the past gods of destiny, the past god of destiny, the past goddess of destiny, the past goddesses of destiny, the past goddess of destiny, the present god of destiny, the present gods of destiny, the present god of destiny, the present goddess of destiny, the present goddesses of destiny, the present goddess of destiny, the future god of destiny, the future gods of destiny, the future god of destiny, the future goddess of destiny, the future goddesses of destiny, the future goddess of destiny, the authentic god of destiny, the authentic gods of destiny, the authentic god of destiny, the authentic goddess of destiny, the authentic goddesses of destiny, the authentic goddess of destiny, the synthetic god of destiny, the synthetic gods of destiny, the synthetic god of destiny, the synthetic goddess of destiny, the synthetic goddesses of destiny, the synthetic goddess of destiny, the progressive god of destiny, the progressive gods of destiny, the progressive god of destiny, the progressive goddess of destiny, the progressive goddesses of destiny, the progressive goddess of destiny, the regressive god of destiny, the regressive gods of destiny, the regressive god of destiny, the regressive goddess of destiny, the regressive goddesses of destiny, the regressive goddess of destiny, the ordinary god of destiny, the ordinary gods of destiny, the ordinary god of destiny, the ordinary goddess of destiny, the ordinary goddesses of destiny, the ordinary goddess of destiny, the extraordinary god of destiny, the extraordinary gods of destiny, the extraordinary god of destiny, the extraordinary goddess of destiny, the extraordinary goddesses of destiny, the extraordinary goddess of destiny, the static god of destiny, the static gods of destiny, the static god of destiny, the static goddess of destiny, the static goddesses of destiny, the static goddess of destiny, the dynamic god of destiny, the dynamic gods of destiny, the dynamic god of destiny, the dynamic goddess of destiny, the dynamic goddesses of destiny, the dynamic goddess of destiny, the land god of destiny, the land gods of destiny, the land god of destiny, the land goddess of destiny, the land goddesses of destiny, the land goddess of destiny, the sea god of destiny, the sea gods of destiny, the sea god of destiny, the sea goddess of destiny, the sea goddesses of destiny, the sea goddess of destiny, the sky god of destiny, the sky gods of destiny, the sky god of destiny, the sky goddess of destiny, the sky goddesses of destiny, the sky goddess of destiny, the god of destiny, the gods of destiny, the god of destiny, the goddess of destiny, the goddesses of destiny, the goddess of destiny, the half god of destiny, the half gods of destiny, the half god of destiny, the half goddess of destiny, the half goddesses of destiny, the half goddess of destiny, the vessel of destiny, the vessels of destiny, the vessel of destiny, the name of destiny, the names of destiny, the name of destiny, the person of destiny, the persons of destiny, the person of destiny, the persona of destiny, the personas of destiny, the persona of destiny, the personage of destiny, the personages of destiny, the personage of destiny, the personality of destiny, the personalities of destiny, the personality of destiny, the personification of destiny, the personifications of destiny, the personification of destiny, the image of destiny, the images of destiny, the image of destiny, the imagination of destiny, the imaginations of destiny, the imagination of destiny, the belief of destiny, the beliefs of destiny, the belief of destiny, the thought of destiny, the thoughts of destiny, the thought of destiny, the word of destiny, the words of destiny, the word of destiny, the action of destiny, the actions of destiny, the action of destiny, the reaction of destiny, the reactions of destiny, the reaction of destiny, the feeling of destiny, the feelings of destiny, the feeling of destiny, the situation of destiny, the situations of destiny, the situation of destiny, the circumstance of destiny, the circumstances of destiny, the circumstance of destiny, the environment of destiny, the environments of destiny, the environment of destiny, the relationship of destiny, the relationships of destiny, the relationship of destiny, the number of destiny, the numbers of destiny, the number of destiny, the formula of destiny, the formulas of destiny, the formula of destiny, the equation of destiny, the equations of destiny, the equation of destiny, the theory of destiny, the theories of destiny, the theory of destiny, the symbol of destiny, the symbols of destiny, the symbol of destiny, the color of destiny, the colors of destiny, the color of destiny, the thing of destiny, the things of destiny, the thing of destiny, the way of destiny, the ways of destiny, the way of destiny, the place of destiny, the places of destiny, the place of destiny, the time of destiny, the times of destiny, the time of destiny, the event of destiny, the events of destiny, the event of destiny, the result of destiny, the results of destiny, the result of destiny, the crown of destiny, the crowns of destiny, the crown of destiny, the throne of destiny, the thrones of destiny, the throne of destiny, the destiny king, the destiny kings, the destiny kingdom, the destiny kingdoms, the destiny king's subject, the destiny king's subjects, the destiny king's dominion, the destiny king's dominions, the kingdom of destiny, the kingdoms of destiny, the kingdom of destiny, the Destiny Queen, the Destiny Queens, the Destiny Queendom, the Destiny Queendoms, the Destiny Queen Subject, the Destiny Queen Subjects, the Destiny Queen's Dominion, the Destiny Queen's Dominions, the Queendom of Destiny, the Queendoms of Destiny, the Queendom of Destiny, the Destiny Prince, the Destiny Princes, the Destiny Princedom, the Destiny Princedoms, the Destiny Prince's Subject, the Destiny Prince's Subjects, the Destiny Prince's Dominion, the Destiny Prince's Dominions, the Princedom of Destiny, the Princedoms of Destiny, the Princedom of Destiny, the Destiny Princess, the Destiny Princesses, the Destiny Princessdom, the Destiny Princessdoms, the Destiny Princess's Subject, the Destiny Princess's Subjects, the Destiny Princess's Dominion, the Destiny Princess's Dominions, the Princessdom of Destiny, the Princessdoms of Destiny, the Princessdom of Destiny, the Lord of Destiny, the Lords of Destiny, the Lord of Destiny, the Lordess of Destiny, the Lordesses of Destiny, the Lordess of Destiny, the Priest of Destiny, the Priests of Destiny, the Priest of Destiny, the Priestess of Destiny, the Priestesses of Destiny, the Priestess of Destiny, the Ritual of Destiny, the Rituals of Destiny, the Ritual of Destiny, the Shrine of Destiny, the Shrines of Destiny, the Shrine of Destiny, the Temple of Destiny, the Temples of Destiny, the Temple of Destiny, the Leader of Destiny, the Leaders of Destiny, the Leader of Destiny, the Follower of Destiny, the Followers of Destiny, the Follower of Destiny, the Natural Substance of Destiny, the Natural Substances of Destiny, the Natural Substance of Destiny, the Supernatural Substance of Destiny, the Supernatural Substances of Destiny, the Supernatural Substance of Destiny, the Temporal Substance of Destiny, the Temporal Substances of Destiny, the Temporal Substance of Destiny, the Spiritual Substance of Destiny, the Spiritual Substances of Destiny, the Spiritual Substance of Destiny, the Natural Form of Destiny, the Natural Forms of Destiny, the Natural Form of Destiny, the Supernatural Form of Destiny, the Supernatural Forms of Destiny, the Supernatural Form of Destiny, the Temporal Form of Destiny, the Temporal Forms of Destiny, the Temporal Form of Destiny, the Spiritual Form of Destiny, the Spiritual Forms of Destiny, the Spiritual Form of Destiny, the Age of Destiny, the Ages of Destiny, the Age of Destiny, the Era of Destiny, the Heiress of Destiny, the Era of Destiny, the Awakener of Destiny, the Awakeners of Destiny, the Awakener of Destiny, the Awakening of Destiny, the Awakenings of Destiny, the Awakening of Destiny, the Realm of Destiny, the Realms of Destiny, the Realm of Destiny, the Dimension of Destiny, the Dimensions of Destiny, the Dimension of Destiny, the Zone of Destiny, the Zones of Destiny, the Zone of Destiny, the Frequency of Destiny, the Frequencies of Destiny, the Frequency of Destiny, the Century of Destiny, the Centuries of Destiny, the Century of Destiny, the Millennium of Destiny, the Millenniums of Destiny, the Millennium of Destiny, the Purpose of Destiny, the Purposes of Destiny, the Purpose of Destiny, the Meaning of Destiny, the Meanings of Destiny, the Meaning of Destiny, the Culture of Destiny, the Cultures of Destiny, the Culture of Destiny, the Demonstrator of Destiny, the Demonstrators of Destiny, the Demonstrator of Destiny, the Demonstration of Destiny, the Demonstrations of Destiny, the Demonstration of Destiny, the Manifester of Destiny, the Manifestors of Destiny, the Manifester of Destiny, the Manifestation of Destiny, the Manifestations of Destiny, the Manifestation of Destiny, the Presence of Destiny, the Presences of Destiny, the Presence of Destiny, the Glow of Destiny, the Glows of Destiny, the Glow of Destiny, the Goal of Destiny, the Goals of Destiny, the Goal of Destiny, the Plan of Destiny, the Plans of Destiny, the Plan of Destiny, the Book of Destiny, the Books of Destiny, the Book of Destiny, the Philosopher of Destiny, the Philosophers of Destiny, the Philosopher of Destiny, the Philosophy of Destiny, the Philosophies of Destiny, the Philosophy of Destiny, the Releaser of Destiny, the releasers of destiny, the releaser of destiny, the release of destiny, the releases of destiny, the release of destiny, the variable of destiny, the variables of destiny, the variable of destiny, the cause of destiny, the causes of destiny, the cause of destiny, the effect of destiny, the effects of destiny, the effect of destiny, the journey of destiny, the journeys of destiny, the journey of destiny, the emergence of destiny, the emergences of destiny, the emergence of destiny, the source of destiny, the sources of destiny, the source of destiny, the originator of destiny, the originators of destiny, the originator of destiny, the origin of destiny, the origins of destiny, the origin of destiny, the forefather of destiny, the forefathers of destiny, the forefather of destiny, the foremother of destiny, the foremothers of destiny, the foremother of destiny, the ancestor of destiny, the ancestors of destiny, the ancestor of destiny, the descendant of destiny, the descendants of destiny, the descendant of destiny, the lineage of destiny, the lineages of destiny, the lineage of destiny, the heritage of destiny, the heritages of destiny, the heritage of destiny, the heir of destiny, the heirs of destiny, the heir of destiny, the co-heir of destiny, the co-heirs of destiny, the co-heir of destiny, the joint heir of destiny, the joint heirs of destiny, the joint heir of destiny, the dynasty of destiny, the dynasties of destiny, the dynasty of destiny, the force of destiny, the forces of destiny, the force of destiny, the law of destiny, the laws of destiny, the law of destiny, the pact of destiny, the pacts of destiny, the pact of destiny, the game of destiny, the games of destiny, the game of destiny, the mask of destiny, the masks of destiny, the mask of destiny, the armor of destiny, the armors of destiny, the armor of destiny, the sword of destiny, the swords of destiny, the sword of destiny, the shield of destiny, the shields of destiny, the shield of destiny, the force shield of destiny, the force shields of destiny, the force shield of destiny, the armored force shield of destiny, the armored force shields of destiny, the armored force shield of destiny, the champion of destiny, the champions of destiny, the champion of destiny, the guardian of destiny, the guardians of destiny, the guardian of destiny, the defender of destiny, the defenders of destiny, the defender of destiny, the protector of destiny, the protectors of destiny, the protector of destiny, the chant of destiny, the chants of destiny, the chant of destiny, the shape of destiny, the shapes of destiny, the shape of destiny, the cube of destiny, the cubes of destiny, the cube of destiny, the cuboid of destiny, the cuboids of destiny, the cuboid of destiny, the sphere of destiny, the spheres of destiny, the sphere of destiny, the spheroid of destiny, the spheroids of destiny, the spheroid of destiny, the prism of destiny, the prisms of destiny, the prism of destiny, the pyramid of destiny, the pyramids of destiny, the pyramid of destiny, the cylinder of destiny, the cylinders of destiny, the cylinder of destiny, the cone of destiny, the cones of destiny, the cone of destiny, the triangle of destiny, the triangles of destiny, the triangle of destiny, the circle of destiny, the circles of destiny, the circle of destiny, the semicircle of destiny, the semicircles of destiny, the semicircle of destiny, the square of destiny, the squares of destiny, the square of destiny, the rectangle of destiny, the rectangles of destiny, the rectangle of destiny, the parallelogram of destiny, the parallelograms of destiny, the parallelogram of destiny, the rhombus of destiny, the rhombuses of destiny, the rhombus of destiny, the trapezoid of destiny, the trapezoids of destiny, the trapezoid of destiny, the polygon of destiny, the polygons of destiny, the polygon of destiny, the pentagon of destiny, the pentagons of destiny, the pentagon of destiny, the hexagon of destiny, the hexagons of destiny, the hexagon of destiny, the septagon of destiny, the septagons of destiny, the septagon of destiny, the octagon of destiny, the octagons of destiny, the octagon of destiny, the nonagon of destiny, the nonagons of destiny, the nonagon of destiny, the decagon of destiny, the decagons of destiny, the decagon of destiny, the evolution of destiny, the evolutions of destiny, the evolution of destiny, the revolution of destiny, the revolutions of destiny, the revolution of destiny, the elemental art of destiny, the elemental arts of destiny, the elemental art of destiny, the elemental science of destiny, the elemental sciences of destiny, the elemental science of destiny, the elemental principle of destiny, the elemental principles of destiny, the elemental principle of destiny, the elemental technology of destiny, the elemental technologies of destiny, the elemental technology of destiny, the low elemental art of destiny, the low elemental arts of destiny, the low elemental art of destiny, the low elemental science of destiny, the low elemental sciences of destiny, the low elemental science of destiny, the low elemental principle of destiny, the low elemental principles of destiny, the low elemental principle of destiny, the low elemental technology of destiny, the low elemental technologies of destiny, the low elemental technology of destiny, the high elemental art of destiny, the high elemental arts of destiny, the high elemental art of destiny, the high elemental science of destiny, the high elemental sciences of destiny, the high elemental science of destiny, the high elemental principle of destiny, the high elemental principles of destiny, the high elemental principle of destiny, the high elemental technology of destiny, the high elemental technologies of destiny, the high elemental technology of destiny, the agent of destiny, the agents of destiny, the agent of destiny, the agency of destiny, the agencies of destiny, the agency of destiny, the amplifier of destiny, the amplifiers of destiny, the amplifier of destiny, the amplification of destiny, the amplifications of destiny, the amplification of destiny, the enhancer of destiny, the enhancers of destiny, the enhancer of destiny, the enhancement of destiny, the enhancements of destiny, the enhancement of destiny, the magnifier of destiny, the magnifiers of destiny, the magnifier of destiny, the magnification of destiny, the magnifications of destiny, the magnification of destiny, the influencer of destiny, the influencers of destiny, the influencer of destiny, the influence of destiny, the influences of destiny, the influence of destiny, the emanator of destiny, the emanators of destiny, the emanator of destiny, the emanation of destiny, the emanations of destiny, the emanation of destiny, the converger of destiny, the convergers of destiny, the converger of destiny, the convergence of destiny, the convergences of destiny, the convergence of destiny, the aura of destiny, the auras of destiny, the aura of destiny, the impression of destiny, the impressions of destiny, the impression of destiny, the intelligence of destiny, the intelligences of destiny, the intelligence of destiny, the sophistication of destiny, the sophistications of destiny, the sophistication of destiny, the genius of destiny, the geniuses of destiny, the genius of destiny, the polymath of destiny, the polymaths of destiny, the polymath of destiny, the psychic of destiny, the psychics of destiny, the psychic of destiny, the knowledge of destiny, the knowledges of destiny, the knowledge of destiny, the understanding of destiny, the understandings of destiny, the understanding of destiny, the wisdom of destiny, the wisdoms of destiny, the wisdom of destiny, the secret of destiny, the secrets of destiny, the secret of destiny, the mystery of destiny, the mysteries of destiny, the mystery of destiny, the revelation of destiny, the revelations of destiny, the revelation of destiny, the tactic of destiny, the tactics of destiny, the tactic of destiny, the strategy of destiny, the strategies of destiny, the strategy of destiny, the strength of destiny, the strengths of destiny, the strength of destiny, the might of destiny, the mights of destiny, the might of destiny, the power of destiny, the powers of destiny, the power of destiny, the authority of destiny, the authorities of destiny, the authority of destiny, the dominion of destiny, the dominions of destiny, the dominion of destiny, the rhythm of destiny, the rhythms of destiny, the rhythm of destiny, the melody of destiny, the melodies of destiny, the melody of destiny, the music of destiny, the musics of destiny, the music of destiny, the lyric of destiny, the lyrics of destiny, the lyric of destiny, the song of destiny, the songs of destiny, the song of destiny, the dance of destiny, the dances of destiny, the dance of destiny, the spirit of destiny, the spirits of destiny, the spirit of destiny, the soul of destiny, the souls of destiny, the soul of destiny, the body of destiny, the bodies of destiny, the body of destiny, the mark of destiny, the marks of destiny, the mark of destiny, the promise of destiny, the promises of destiny, the promise of destiny, the visionary of destiny, the visionaries of destiny, the visionary of destiny, the vision of destiny, the visions of destiny, the vision of destiny, the picture of destiny, the pictures of destiny, the picture of destiny, the sound of destiny, the sounds of destiny, the sound of destiny, the dung of destiny, the dungs of destiny, the dung of destiny, the language of destiny, the languages of destiny, the language of destiny, the communication of destiny, the communications of destiny, the communication of destiny, the people of destiny, the peoples of destiny, the people of destiny, the society of destiny, the societies of destiny, the society of destiny, the fortress of destiny, the fortresses of destiny, the fortress of destiny, the government of destiny, the governments of destiny, the government of destiny, the city of destiny, the cities of destiny, the city of destiny, the nation of destiny, the nations of destiny, the nation of destiny, the civilization of destiny, the civilizations of destiny, the civilization of destiny, the world of destiny, the worlds of destiny, the world of destiny,